Pyramid One World Radio is a lifeline to many listening, and to a direct connection to dimensions and universes, people and places you are listening to. Pyramid One World Radio, WKIT Radio Network. We are here for the world.
Pyramid One World Radio presents all you wanted to know about aliens and all you're not being told by your leaders. Bob Charles says, if you're fascinated by the possibility of alien life here on Earth, then you won't want to miss tonight's upcoming special guests on Pyramid One World Radio Network. They are Rob Potter, Marc, and Phyllis Brinkerhoff, and Jamie and Maggie Clark, who are all renowned masters and experts in the field of alien life, including the spiritual aspect of us humans, who have never been alone on Earth or in the universe ever. These individuals have dedicated their lives to studying and understanding the mysteries surrounding extraterrestrial beings. Their extensive knowledge and experiences From discussing UFO sightings to delving into ancient civilizations' connections with extraterrestrial beings, these special guests will provide a captivating perspective that will leave you questioning what you thought you knew about our world. Tune in to Pyramid One World Radio Network for an enlightening conversation with Rob Potter, Marc, and Phyllis Brinkerhoff, and Jamie and Maggie Clark. Prepare to expand your mind as they shed light on the fascinating topic of alien life here on Earth. This will be an historic conversation with Rob Potter, Marc, and Phyllis Brinkerhoff, and Jamie and Maggie Clark. Prepare to expand your mind as they shed light on the fascinating topic of alien life here on Earth. Call in with questions by dialing 6096630153, and the group will educate us all. Welcome to Pyramid One Radio Roundtable. Put your hands together to welcome this group.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know, we've got a lot of people in the phone room, a lot of people that are listening. Welcome everybody.
Awesome.
Now, what I had there in the intro, I love writing, but what I had there in the intro is things that I really want to bring up tonight, because Washington is not. And they're doing all their UFO meetings and all this other kind of stuff. And all they say is, oh, well, look, it was a picture. Oh, look, something was flying. Like, oh, come on. You know what I mean? Like, these things have been around since, let me see. The Chinese have it like 3,000 years, 2,000 years ago, some crazy thing in that. They found, alien pictures.
Began on the planet. They've been here. So,
yeah, they've been here all along.
It's just the universe and the ignorance of mankind and the governments are completely in denial and lying. Those who know, it's so far beyond the pale of beyond lies and corruption. It's demonic, really. But that's changing, and today hopefully we can shed some light and break through with some people's minds if they're willing to keep them open.
That's what we really say. Marc, how about you?
Well, the Earth is round, not flat.
Good boy.
Must admit that. No, I've gone around it many times, and I can't stand this I hate to say it. Did I say it?
I don't know.
DARPA. They're the ones who formulate that stuff to see how people will believe it or not. And this is years ago. And they do that.
The thing that I think everybody wonders about is misinformation. That seems to be the biggest thing going on right now. People are being told all these things about aliens and this and that. We're going to get attacked. And I mean, I heard that about 2 weeks ago. There was a thing. A guy was saying possible attack by it. And I'm sitting there. I swear to you, gentlemen, ladies, I was on my back laughing. That's how hard I was laughing. I know Marc a while, I know Potter a long time too. I know Jamie, each one of you guys. I mean, I just spoke to somebody from 2015, which Jamie, you were there. Marc, you were there in 16. Potter, you were there in 16. I mean, we're talking 9 years ago. And we've been talking about these things.
We worked together in 2012.
Yeah, 2012, right. And, it's crazy because all this stuff that is going on right now was and has been going on all along. It never stopped. And you guys are the only ones that I would give my complete confidence to that what you say is the law of what's going on. It's not, we're not writing it in the air anymore. We're not using chalk on a sidewalk after a rainstorm. We're actually carving this in stone.
And I think be able to share and shed some light on this, because for me, I can only speak about my own experiences, but on the average person, they're like, okay, you one of them. It's like, man, you're only a nut job till it's validated. And the ability to be kind of refined in my own life experience as I've grown up, these experiences have allowed my soul essence to become even more aware and being able to shift dimensions. It's huge. And with the practicality, just to me, remember, when our brothers and sisters are standing before us, religion as you know it is gone. So it's going to be a major shift in connection. And just from my awareness, I share the fact that I had a good friend many years ago who was in the military, and he was in one of those there silos where you turn the key and push the button. And they were sitting there, and out of the blue, right up above is this starlight. They couldn't figure it out. Everything got shut down.
Everything got shut down.
There was nothing in a dark hole. My thing is with their technology, a lot of them are way beyond us, but they could have shut everything down that easy and taken it. They haven't. And a lot of them are here. They've been here.
Now, on that note, you're talking about Robert. I'm going to get to you. Well, because I mean, really, this is going to be an incredible loop I'm doing here. Now, Marc, you have not only met them, you've spoken to them, you know these guys, you've been on the ships and everything. Tell us a little bit about that, because what we're talking about now is the things that are supposedly going on, as opposed to whether they're real or not.
Oh, they're real, and I come from there, and this is how I appear at Phyllis. We're out in the body on the ships. If you meet me out of body, that's what I look like. I'm just in this body as a car. But I mean, that's how I can put it the best for people to understand, the regular people. And I say, like cars, different sizes and shapes and colors, but just your soul is your soul in there. And so I am an ET soul, let's say, it's all as we all are, coming from other places and times and other galaxies as well and other universes, because there's many.
So you're a walk-in.
Yes. I would call it transferring in when one body dies. I came in with extra permission to come in. I don't have karma here. I haven't been on planets for like a million years. We visit them, but not being born on them or anything. So coming in was a mission, and almost like a secret spy mission. But I understood it as a child, but I had no words to explain it, because I came in with all my memory from where I've come from before and all these other galaxies and places. And I come here to be a true a witness for the infinite creator, to who Sananda truly is, and all the other crew members that we know. But Sananda is the second person of the Holy Trinity, and known as Yehoshua here, or Jesus when he came in as to be born here. But he had not multiple lives here. I know there's a lot of channelers talking that, And I talk to him all the time. I what I call remote view him. And Phyllis coined it for me, lucid remote viewing, because Ingo Swann and I talked about it, but he said, "Oh, you've always done it." So he's seen me out of body as well. How do I explain this? We did an illustration for our book, and I'm from up here. That's where I come from, the 12th and beyond. This is where people are in first plane, first level here, and we have multiple levels within all the planes. So when they talk about moving to the fourth frequency or the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension, I know they're speaking about what's here, right here with us here in this first level. The other levels, the other planes and levels are not like this one. So in our book, we're writing about this to try to give people this information, because I've come from these other planes. Yes, as your oversouls or full true selves are on this over higher planes, 10, 11, 12 and beyond. And my normal place is 12th plane and beyond. But as a higher self aspect, I've come in from the 10th, 11th, and 12th plane to come here. So even when Ingo met me, Ingo Swann goes, "Oh, you're your own higher self here." And I said, "You're the only one who said it. The only one who knows that is Phyllis." So, and it's true. And people, psychics, I've met a lot of psychics. It was only Ingo who saw the true, because he and I have been together before.
These are attached planets.
Now, the seventh plane on around the planet and the physical densities of the planets. So people know them as the 7 planes, but all these planes go into the cosmic, universal, omniversal levels. And I can't explain it all, but it's the best way to explain it for now is when we're out in the 12th plane levels and these higher frequency dimensions. Everyone wants to speak about dimensions and levels and planes. You can go visit out of body or astral projection or soul travel up to the 7th plane and sometimes beyond, depending on your frequency and what you have. Drugs, alcohol, things like that will limit a person or a soul from going out of body to certain higher frequencies and levels. So in planes, on the planes. This is the way I see and meet and I know Sananda. This is Sananda, who was Yehoshua. This is me. When you meet me, I have light or dark hair, gold hair, doesn't matter. This is part of my crew and friends. This is Callistiana. This is Asteron. And he is the one who brought in the message from 1977. He came to me a week before. He said they were going to plan this. That's the message from space, 1977.
Cool.
And Ashtar's crew, who I personally know Ashtar, he's a friend, but I'm not part of his crew. I have been on his crew to work with a little bit with them. So through that time, 1977, the crew that I work with, or the Intergalactic Mission, we're part of the Christ group. We're bringing that into Earth right now to let them understand who that is. The Intergalactic Mission, we did a relay from the higher planes to the 7th, coming through to the 4th planes with Ashtar's crews, and they worked with a relay to the planet to come into the TV sets at that time in southern England.
That sounds like one of those. They're here.
Yeah, and here's the part that got people who I worked with in the UFO community back in 1976, 77. There was a part where he says, "This is the voice of Astron," because I told my friends a week or more before that they're going to give a message to people of Earth in a certain way. I'm not sure yet, but they're going to do something. They're going to try it. So over a week later, the newspapers printed, "This is the voice of Astron." And they called me that morning to say, if you hadn't told us the name, we would have thought this was a joke. But I made them all write it down that day, a week plus ahead of time. One part that got them, he says, "This is the voice of Astron. I'm an authorized representative of the Intergalactic Mission, and I have a message for the planet Earth. We're beginning to enter the period of Aquarius, and there are many corrections which have to be made by Earth people. All your weapons of evil must be destroyed. You only have a short time to learn to live together in peace. You must live together in peace, or leave the galaxy." My friends at 1977 were saying, what the heck did he mean by leave the galaxy? And I said, it's not as like, you're going to be taken away. It means that if we are the planet people right now, don't get their energy levels working right, clear this demonic stuff, pornography, heavy duty drugs and alcohol and everything else that happens on planet Earth. We know what they're doing underground. We know, so we won't talk about it, but the people out there have to learn about it. They just don't believe it. They have to get their energy right and get right with Creator. Choose a side. They've told me that for a long time, to tell people to get it right, choose a side. Stop playing with this. Selfies are arrogant behavior of the Earth people now. And to get right with Creator, because we're all going to have to come to that point. Phyllis and I call it releasing karma or repenting. It means just clearing up the daily things that you've done in any way you thought you did wrong, in any way you said something or did something to somebody or a dog, doesn't matter. Animals are souls. They're seen on the other side when we're up there. I've had death experiences. I've been over there, but I go back and forth on those planes. So animals are seen the same as a child, an innocent child being abused. So that's how people will be judged.
When they said to leave
when you said leave the galaxy,
they meant.
That's Phyllis is just reminding me. When they said to leave the galaxy, that means if our energy levels aren't working right with the frequency and that high levels, to be able to be teleported onto a craft, the people who are left on the planet, when this changes occur, because that's another reason I'm here. I've been talking about it to my parents since I was a little child. The sun is going through things, and it's going to affect our solar system, our galaxy, but mostly the solar system and the planets. So when that happens, and the people on the Earth are not ready, they will be teleported. They will go to another planet.
Back up for a second. When you just said that, okay, that really, I mean, let's face it. I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. You know, I've read the Bible so many times that my eyeballs went cross-eyed.
Okay.
But yeah, I was almost a priest, guys. Hey, you know, close. They didn't want me. and I was a good boy too. But, you know, out of all the stuff that was there, what you're talking about, in the Bible, it does say that those who are righteous will ascend. It's in the Bible. What you just said is in the Bible.
Yes.
So if you're getting this from someone other than our world, then someone from our world was here a long time ago.
We were visiting Earth before.
Robert, because we're here from the beginning.
Can I share some stuff here?
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
So going back kind of the beginning, I'd like to just throw out whatever the government says in the disinformation. That's completely irrelevant to what we're talking about. If anyone still wants to listen to that hopium and that disinformation, you're welcome to it. The purpose that I'm here on the mission is to act as a messenger telling the truth. You know, I know there's, you know, some people have star things. I mean, I presume, Marc, that you're a crawl-in. You were born here as a person. So
over the body, the other soul.
Everyone is from God. Everyone lives on the 12th dimension. Everyone is here to share that message. I think it's important that we don't put ourselves up as I'm a 12th dimensional here to lead you astray or lead you the way or whatever. I think we all just need to relate that we're all human. We all have limitations here. And the message of Christ, of Sananda, who the Venusians call the living word of God made flesh, a very special avatar because he embodies the creator of this universe. The true creator is beyond all name and form, yet within all name and form and transcendent to all name and form, the unknowable, the unknower, the knowing, the knower, and the known, or the isness, always is, was, and will be. We can't define it. We can't know it or talk about it, but we can experience its bliss. To claim to know, to talk about God is just to cloak our ignorance in pompous expression, really. So there's this creative force in the galaxy, and there are obviously avatars, and the greatest avatar beyond Krishna, and it doesn't matter. It's not about worshiping a person. It's about worshiping God as a spirit. Because I'm not a real religious person at all in a secular way, but through my association with the Venusians, and you see two of them behind me here. They came to visit my friend Raymond Keller to congratulate him on his work. Now, the Venusians are the head of the Solar Council on Saturn, and they're also the head of the Galactic Confederation of Light on the sixth, fifth, and fourth and third dimensions. And the Queen of Venus, their matriarchal society, is the head of the Solar Council, and she's also the head of the Galactic Confederation of Light. And I have a message from her, if you'd like to hear it, that I played at my conference this year. Would you like to hear that message?
Go ahead. The world
okay, I'm
is listening to you.
So I'm going to play a message from the Queen. I don't know if you've allowed the screen sharing here, but I'm going to.
There you go.
I have to pull it up here, and I'm going to pull up this message from the Queen of Venus, and I'll let you guys listen to it here. So this is a message from the Queen of Venus played to my conference, and they're very much related to Sananda, or the Ascended Master Sunat Kumara was born on Tau Ceti 25 million years ago, and the 4 Kumaras became Ascended Masters. There's a little galactic history here. So as an Ascended Master 25 million years, he was a great soul when the Tau Cetians or the Norcans migrated to Venus. They were losing their atmosphere. And he's been very involved as a world teacher in various epochs and cycles on various worlds throughout the galaxy. And he was chosen because of the Satonian rebellion and the Luciferian fall that occurred on this earth, with a casting out of about 1/3 of the angels of heaven to the earth. And the Venusians are our guardian sister planet. They're ascended for the most part, but they keep a contingent, about 5 million people, on the 4th and 3rd dimension, and they serve us. I met Valiant Thor, I met Don Thor, I met his wife Jill, and I met Alon, the security chief, who's 2,400 years old, born under Darius the Great, and was one of the Magi at Christ's birth. He held the camera for my video recorded interview. So other than Omnek, I have a recorded interview of the Venusians. They don't want me to share it to the public, something about casting pearls before swine, and she has an earth life. They've allowed me to share. The woman on this side is Lady Aurora. She's an Indian, and she worked with Lady Columba in the years 1927 in the social Christian ministry in Rishikesh and Hardwar Lakshman Jula in India. During the thing, the woman on the left, I don't know when she ascended, but the woman on the right was taken to Venus in 1957, and worked on the moon base for 4 years, and wrote a book about it. It's on my website. It's called Lady Columba, Venus Revelations. I don't make money from it, but it's a good book. And she passed on in 1995 at the age of 93, and she woke up in a new body. So I'm going to show you some images from my Meet the Venus thing. You can read the slides here as I play this message from the Queen of Venus to my, they gave me it last year. I had the message of Valiant Thor speaking to my audience, and I'm not allowed to play that one, but there's a transcript on my website. So this is a message to the Queen of Venus, and you're going to hear some prophecy here about, unfortunately, the 7 plagues are coming. These are natural disasters. The timelines have shifted, and we've got a lot of things going on behind the scenes. That's how the Venusians are working, is secretly behind the scenes. These are physical beings, and they're, the dimensionality and activations are all important, but really it's about patience, kindness, and love, and the transformation of the individual towards a spiritual vibration that Marc talked about, and is about us recognizing the message of Christ, that we're brothers and sisters, and we need to cast out the beam in our own eye, and before we can remove the mote in our brother's eye, and we have to realize we're all brothers and sisters, and we all have to get along. So here's a message from the Queen, and you can see the images and read as I play this.
Dear friends of Venus and light workers assembled at Mount Shasta in Northern California, this 22nd day of June 23rd, for the opening ceremonies of the 23 Summer Conference, The New Spiritual Paradigm, Angels and Extraterrestrials in the Multidimensional Universe. This is the Queen, Lady Order of Abahar, The planet of abiding love that you know as Venus is speaking to you from a safe house situated somewhere on the east coast of the United States. I consider it a great honor for me to address you today. In the coming days, you will interact with many ascended souls touching your spirit to activate both a personal and collective transformation of consciousness, advancing you to yet higher levels of awakening and understanding. We have taken good note that many of you have already expressed your appreciation to Commander Valiant Thor, Alan, Lady Columba, Lady Aurora, Commander Aura Reigns, Dr. Frank A. Stranges, our historian published Virgilius Morrow, our ambassador Omnek Onek, Helen and Betty Mitchell, Sister Thedra, Lady Ankara, and many others so dear to my heart, those of our angelic forces of light, for granting you access to night classes aboard our Victor class cloaked and ethereal star vessels in orbit above our planet. We are also pleased that so many of among you have already recognized your callings and missions in preparing your fellow beings of Earth for overcoming the obstacles that are surely headed to your planet in the difficult days ahead, long foretold by the avatars and prophets sent among you since the beginning of recorded history. You, dear brothers and sisters in the light, are the fulfillment of the prophecy written by the Apostle Luke to the General Assembly of the Church of the Firstborn in Acts 2:16, which reads as follows: "And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out of my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams." Now, I feel at this point that I should say something to you about angels, since that's the theme of this most special conference. Your understanding of just who and what angels are is limited by the religious constructs imposed on you since birth. Apart from the atheists or agnostic, however, most believers in God and a hereafter can acknowledge the existence of a heaven or pleroma populated with both some of our dearly departed ones and a class of highly evolved spiritual beings commonly referred to as the angels. The word angel is derived from the Greek angelos, which simply signifies messenger. In the Bible, Standard King James Version, we find a compilation of 66 books consisting of 39 in the Old Testament and 27 in the New Testament. We know that angels, therefore, are important insofar as they are mentioned 273 times in 34 of the 66 books. And in all these references, we find angels always in the context of being otherworldly visitors of a primarily spiritual nature, but having the ability to appear to humans, in most instances, in a form similar to that of the human body, with slight variations. Reverend Dr. Frank E. Strange, who lived on Earth from the period of 1927 to 2008, and now resides in the Crystal City of Azure on Venus, was once director of the International Evangelism Crusade of Van Nuys, California, and a globally recognized authority of the subjects of extraterrestrial life and flying saucers. He now wants you to know that there are at least 4 classes of angels serving the inhabitants of the earth for various reasons: messenger angels, ministering angels, guardian angels, and reaper angels. These otherworldly entities frequently show up in the lives of human beings during their times of special need. Perhaps they will come to you in order to bring you safely through some distressing or dangerous situation, or perhaps to warn you of coming trials or catastrophe ahead. But in most cases, an angel will come to bring you words of spiritual knowledge, delivering secrets of the celestial realms, essential for your physical or spiritual salvation and eventual exaltation. Of course, these angels bring all of us such cosmic gnosis not of their own accord, but as directed by the Father of lights. And then there is one classification of angels that long ago lost their privilege of serving humankind. These are the fallen ones, about 1/3 of the hosts of heaven that came from all four of these aforementioned categories of celestial servants, but put themselves in rebellion to the creator of the universe and were, as a result of their defiance toward God, ousted from heaven. These are the ones you have to look out for, my friends, as they are lurking in all the dark corners of your world, ready to pounce on you like a roaring lion. In a previous message imparted to you by our beautiful Clarion Moon-based commander, Aura Reigns, she told you of the COVID pandemic, that it was but a foreshadowing of the pale horse prophecy in the Apostle John's revelation given from the Isle of Patmos in the year 99 of your common era. This was a direct sign that we are approaching the projected 7-year period of tribulation, granting assurance to you, the saints of God in these later days, that the reaping angels are standing by to whisk you away to super Earth's paradise worlds now being prepared for you in the Sirius star system, a celestial incubator. And all of this in order that you will be saved from alarm and danger when the 4 horsemen will ride across the sky and the blast of the 7 angels' trumpets will announce the pouring out of the vials of plagues and destruction upon the earth, such as have not been seen since the days of the prophets Noah and Moses. It's very important to act while there is still time. About these angels, they also appear to herald the birth of very important figures, or even those who would be emerging on the scene. Sometimes they would come to caution the world about an enemy who could potentially threaten it. There is another scripture from the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verses 6-7, which has great importance in our day. It reads as follows: "And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters." This will be the last call, the last chance for many to escape in the rapture of the saints. The terrible calamities coming as foretold in the remainder of chapter 14. Do not hesitate to sound the voice of warning throughout the land. These visitors have been appearing since the beginning of time. If you go back into ancient history, you will find that in many cultures and civilizations all around the world, there is evidence of otherworldly visitors with wings who would come to speak with important figures on earth in whom they felt could help them in carrying out the contents of their messages. The wings, of course, quote unquote, are representative of this being's ability to fly. Overall, we know that there were messengers that came throughout time, and I will let you in on a little 4th dimensional Venusian secret. These angels also came to earth in and out of time. There was no partiality shown in the deliverance of the message geographically or spiritually. And so, do you want to know who is that angel flying in the midst of heaven? You, the light worker, are that angel. In fact, you were called to be an angel before you were ever incarnated on the earth plane. And that is your calling, dear one, to be a messenger of the light and spread the gospel or good news of the coming degrees of glory and exaltation that await each and every child of God, should they step up into that marvelous light. And please keep in mind Dr. Frankie Strange's and Lady Kara's favorite verse, Hebrews 13:2, which clearly explains each and everyone's highest calling on earth's material plane. Be not forgetful, to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Exercising kindness is the key that unlocks the door to celestial riches, both abundant and eternal. Hold on to your heads, dear ones. We are all in for a real roller coaster ride in the next decade. This is the Queen, Order of Abhar. Thank you for your kind attention.
Okay, I'm sure that's going to open up a can of worms of questions. That's a pretty good introduction to the Queen and my contact level of experience. My questions are handed directly to the security chief, who's responsible for all Venusians physically who are involved in many positions in the Earth's governments and science and finance and military and art. And they wear a red beret. Can anyone think of an artist who might have had a connection with the Venusians? Prince. He wrote a song about.
I've got one question though, Robert. We lost Marc when you turned on the other screen. Could you get rid of that screen?
Isn't it gone?
It says +1, so he may be there. Marc, are you there? Can you hear us? There he is.
Yeah.
We're in the corner. I was in the corner.
We knew you were there, but when he put up the other screen, your face went poof. It was gone. But I didn't want to touch anything because I knew it was still there.
If I may, just the acknowledgement to go, well, isn't that interesting? Other worlds are acknowledging angels. To me, it's dimensions, light frequencies, and vibrations. And each dimension has its own vibratory rate. So it seems just as solid as this one. And I say, oh, yeah, nothing's solid. It's all energy. But within that, also because I do the psychic medium, and everyone's a psychic medium. If you got a soul, you've got the ability to do it. But in making these connections, in working, I've done a lot of scientific studies and continue at the University of Arizona with Gary and Rhonda Schwartz. So we're putting a lot of more of the scientific methodology to these things. My thing is one of the avenues that we're working on, one of the technologies is what they're calling the soul phone. It's a dimensional frequency resonator. But my thing is once we're connecting with our loved ones, because, excuse me, I kind of equate it, we call them the A-team for us. And one of the people is a very smart gentleman, and I kind of equate like me talking about the soul phone right now. This gentleman in the early 1900s was saying, irregardless of the distance, the person will be right in front of you and you'll be able to put this mechanism into your pocket. And back then people are like, invisible signals, are you crazy? And now we have it, moving from science fiction to science fact. But it's those kinds of connections that if we can get more scientific methodology, systematized, categorized, repeated, maybe there's something to it. Because I think people are ready to have, and to me, this planet is at the tipping point of consciousness, 51%. But it's also that integration that I was picking up for many years that 2023 was going to be the acclamation of humanity to our brothers and sisters. And, coincidentally, and there is no coincidence, but it's all happening in this connection. There is a huge connection. And for Marc, if I may ask a question, have you heard of some of the ships being created by thought, mental thought patterns?
Yes, that's what we are on the Zarkvanas, on the high planes in the 12th and beyond.
Cool, because I'm
made created that way, and we have frequencies from the Creator moving through the ship all the time. That's what the book I'm writing is the universal symbols.
Beautiful. That's why I share the fact to go, if that's a mental thought construct, then you are literally walking through other people's minds. And I'm into that Dr. Masaru Emoto, the molecular structure of water that holds thought patterns, thought within it. And one of the gentlemen that I was just talking about on our A-team was also letting me know that in the psychic mediumship, you are picking up other thought patterns. You are registering those vibrational channels, those frequencies, whatever we want to refer to, in a molecular structure. So we begin to be an automatic tune-in. And in that, are you seeing more tune-ins as you find yourself being able to enjoy the ship when you're allowed to? Are you integrating new energies, new dimensions, the ability to read energy even more effectively?
I didn't understand what you meant by that because I'm on the ships right now.
I'm just rambling, but yeah, I'm basically when you're on the ship, I believe that are you feeling the unification of dimensions? Are you getting, as you're being uploaded with information, are you starting to be able to read those dimensions in this physical reality on Earth as we perceive it? Does it help amplify?
Yes, it does come through as you think it, so it is on the high planes. And here you can amp that up, and that would be through working with the energy and working with telepathy, in that frequency with telepathy. The I am that I am the creator's energy in that way. You can do that on the other.
I don't think they understand lucid remote viewing.
Oh.
It's something you do that I don't believe other people do.
Well, where I come from, so lucid remote viewing for me is right now I'm sitting here, and at the same time I'm standing on the craft as we're all up there in different ways, and these frequencies work with all of us in our energy field. So you will see many things on the crafts on these high ships. You will. You can move through them, and telepathy is like your way of speaking. Sometimes they speak with their mouths in different languages, but you understand it totally what it's being said. And that's with that infinite creator, the way we have it with the mind of the infinite creator working with us as oneness, in that essence. We see different dimensions. Yes, you can. In fact, there are other places you can go on the craft. These big giant ships are bigger than stars and bigger than Jupiter. And you can see many life experiences of energy, the way it is on different planet systems and other galaxies as well. And you will appear the way you feel in your glorified body form, that which is the way you really feel and how you appear. As we're mostly androgynous, but we choose one sex over another, or sometimes they're just androgynous. A lot of Venusians I've met and worked with will project that androgynous on these high planes. And Venusians are also other people from other places too. It's just that the ones I've met that are, I would say, Venusian now, more so, is that they've recently been on the planet, or that essence of the Earth, of the planet on Venus, coming in life forms there. And so they come through here, let's say, to be born, because we met a lot of people like that. They're born, and they say, I'm from Venus, because that's where they last came from, and stayed there for a while, working there. I was on Venus a long time ago, but not born there, but worked there.
We had something. I think Robert was right in the middle of something when we crossed over. Robert, what were you saying?
Well, I was saying, I don't know if any of the audience has questions. I mean, we're almost done here with an hour, but I did want to put that out there. The Venusians have, I asked them, where I was from. They did say I was from Venus. We all take incarnations in various star systems to bring back information to the home world. So, and I don't know, we've all had different incarnations. I have asked them for a few. They've told me a few. It's not really important. Once again, we're all Earth people here, and we're getting ready. There will be evacuations. They have made that clear. We're in the middle. We're 20 years into a 120-year hydrogen cloud. This was predicted by the Venusians. They told a scientist 70 years ago, and he determined, yeah, it's going to be hot. Sheldon Idle called it the photon belt, and Alex Collier predicted it 10 years ago, and it's been confirmed to me by some NASA scientists and the Observer Ranch. And what that means, Alon told me that it's a cyclic event, just like solar flares are cyclic. And we're going through what's called the galactic plane. We've been down below and we're coming back up into another thing. And the Earth is going back and forth on a wave. It's going up and down on a wave. The whole thing is spiraling. The whole solar system is moving that we can't even imagine as it goes through this. We're at the very edge of the Milky Way. And so we're going through a hydrogen cloud. This hydrogen cloud, do any of my space brothers, friends here know the temperature of outer space between the planets? Marc, you might know this.
Not
absolute zero.
But it's zero, yeah. It's true.
Right.
There's no temperature.
Right. Yeah, it's absolute zero. It usually is. But for the last 20 years, it's been increasing in temperature. And this is a very important thing. This goes to what Alon has spoken to me in regards to the coming tribulation period, that these are natural occurrences. And I'm going to tell you a couple blockbuster things here. And I'm mentioning it, and this is not in fear, this is not negativity, this is not a negative timeline that's overcome or any of this, is simply fact of the reality in the entropic physical plane, which we're still on. We are rising in frequency, the fourth dimension, which is time. When we accomplish that as a planet through our love and patience and our working together and realization of the message of Christ, we will have access to the Akashic records. You'll be able to look into the past freely as a history lesson, but looking into the future of your own timeline is not allowed, because humanity is still a child, and you can't give technology like destroying the planet, like the reptilians and the Anunnaki, the fallen angels, did to create this situation. It's been basically monitored very carefully, and we have to use this technology responsibly. So here's what's happening. The solar system, it's 10,000 degrees from here out to Pluto. Pluto's ice caps are melting. So it's not global warming, which the deep state wants to control as a social credit, transhumanist agenda for you. Forget that. That's not happening anymore. The galactic forces have already stopped that. There will be no false landing. That was a plan, and they're promoting it because that's what they've been told to do. And everyone says, oh, they're coming. No, they were already here and they're being kicked out. So forget the alien invasion. We've been invaded for 16,000 years since the fall of Atlantis and before. So that's all done now. It's behind the scenes. We're removing them at the highest level, unbeknownst to the open humanity. What is important now is for us to focus on, as Jamie and Marc are talking about, is raising our frequency. So here's the skinny on what's taking place. We are in it's 10,000 degrees in outer space. When you have a solar flare, this turbocharges the solar flare. The main cause of global warming has been our misuse of nuclear radiation in above and below ground experiments. If you look at the Earth from outer space, you would say, if they were to say there's no life on Venus, it's too hot. Venus ionosphere, upper ionosphere, is only 1,000 degrees. Earth is 2,000 and probably hotter now because of the solar flares. So there could be no life here. And to be honest, there's really no intelligent life here, but we're growing, right? So what's happening?
Only in Washington. No.
So what's happening now is the solar flares are being turbocharged by 10,000 degrees. It's going to get hotter. It could raise up. I asked Alon, he said he doesn't see the military or financial situation on Earth stabilizing till 2040 or 2060. Because of this turbocharged solar flares, we're going to see, and not all these fires are caused by the government. I think Lahaina and many others are. That's definitely a deep state program. They're trying to open up portals to Satan and their demon-inspired plot to take down the Earth and turn us into a reptilian snack stand on one level, but that's done. The light forces are here. We're going to be surviving these challenging times of tribulation. So I'm going to give you, these are important prophecies I'm going to make here. And number one is that the solar system is going to, with the solar flares, is going to cause like hundreds of thousands of fish dying. This is going to create some famines and pestilence, microcystis in the water supply, and we have been relying on outdated technology when we could have advanced technology. They're trying to get this done by 2028 because 2029, an asteroid comes between the Earth and the Moon. This asteroid is going to be 400 miles above our atmosphere. It's going to cause huge tidal surges, earthquakes, and I can guarantee you pretty much that San Andreas is going to drop LA down. Now it's going to slosh in, and 2 years later, another event will occur. I was a contactee of the Pleiadians, and I went up and board a spaceship with Semyasi and Dr. Fred Bell in 1989. They blocked most of my memories from that, but I do remember Billy Meyer's notes, and he talked about these events occurring. So these are kind of timelines that are coming up here. And if we get together as a planet and the people and start restoring our planet in harmony with universal law, we can move forward as one planet and one people as we adjust. But there's a lot of programming, a lot of old news that has to be done. And so we have to control the media and these types of things. So we're looking at solar flares. Alon said that's going to disrupt our communication system. Other satellites are going to start dropping from the sky. There was something called the Carrington event in the late 1800s that took out all the electricity and telegraph lines that are across, that took away from the Pony Express. They were using Morse code along those lines. So all those had to be replaced. That's very possible now that we're going to have a Carrington event that's going to take down all of our cell phone towers with these solar flares. It may possibly cause disruption. It may cause some problems with the planes. The planes lost 20 minutes about a month ago with the solar flare. There was no communication. When they were handed off between stations out in the middle of the Pacific, some airlines lost contact with the planes. There was a big grounding going on at that time. So these are natural occurrences that mankind is not ready to deal with. So prepare ye, have ears, listen and hear that this is going to take place. And in 2028, if you're living on the coasts around the world, I would probably be aware of your fault lines and the possibilities of what may take place. I would move inland to higher ground. She had mentioned that not since Moses or Noah has such cataclysms occurred. There are certain things that are possible. I'm not trying to be negative. Humanity survives, but we have to realize that even if we pass over in this transition period, and a lot of people will transition during this time, no one dies at the end. Christ came to prove eternal life. And the other final thing I wanted to say is that they do indicate that there will be evacuations. This is the Ashtar command. Everyone's talked about it. It's prophesied in the Bible. And she talked about it. And I have other messages on my website and stuff. If you buy my book, you have a lot of, it's mostly an ebook that has links to every conversation, every question, and every answer. And I have over 2 hours of recorded voice messages from the Queen. Valiant Thor, I'm not allowed to release to the public, but I have the transcript. I release it if you're in person and you're not recording it. The same thing with the other message from the moon base commander. I'm not allowed to release that anymore. She does have a family, Earth life here. So she was working with Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin. The Masonic lodges was good then. They were the resistance against the reptilian forces. So with those warnings in place, I just want to emphasize that this is not a negative thing. This is something for people to be aware that this transition we're not transitioning to the fifth dimension anytime soon. Individuals may transition at any point in time to any dimension based on their spiritual thing, but the whole planet ascending to the fifth dimension is not happening. They are preparing planets in the Sirius system, especially around the planet named Bilaton, around Sirius B, for the transition of a lot of Earth people to that planet. So there's a lot of activity going on beneath the Earth, and this is all behind the scenes. So I'm giving this as a slight view behind the scenes so that you know they are working, they are here. You can see them right here. They're physical beings, they look like us. The Venusians and the Pleiadians and probably Alpha Centauri and other ones that look like us are amongst us. There are others who have the ability to create avatar bodies that can deal our atmosphere. You could have a mantis being and coming in a human body if they have that technology. So that's how they interact here, the forces of light. So I'll let that go. That's kind of my thing. If there's any questions on that, if one wants to ask, yeah.
Let me say one thing in there, because when he turned around and he said about the flare and the wires that were burning. Does anybody know when they did that? I mean, I'm a history freak, so it doesn't matter.
1890, I think, at the World's Fair.
Okay. August 28th, 1859.
Carrington. Everybody want to get that information, you can go to Ben Davidson's suspiciousobservers.org.
Yeah,
that back about 10 years ago or so.
School, because I turned around and said, wait a minute, what did they do? It all burned out all the things, burned down all the wires and everything. I said, wait a minute, whoa, how about the people that were standing there? Well, they almost got burnt down too. Yep. I mean, I was like, okay, so now we're talking about climate change when Just like, and Jamie, you know this because I've said this to you before. We're babies. We are babies. We're the humanoid people are babies. We are the babies of the whole universe and everything. I mean, this was, maybe it started it out as an experiment. And somebody said, hey, let's change things up a little bit. We'll throw a little bit of bacteria, whatever else on there. All those things that they happened. That was the way that went down. On the other hand of it, we are here trying to survive the people that are telling us that it's because of us that the planet is dying. The planet's not dying. It's just going through how would you say it?
It's usually
Evaluation of itself. I mean, everything changes. Nothing stays the same.
Oh,
And as it keeps on moving, and like, for instance, like the moon, the gravity, the poles, the universe pole, all these things, it changes the plates that are putting the Earth together. And as everything changes, the Earth is tilting, just like the North Pole is in Siberia. The real honest, real magnetic pole is in the top part of Siberia.
Yeah,
and in Russia. And because we're turning, we're actually moving. And it's changing. That's changing the way the sun hits the earth. That's the way the water flows back and forth. And all these idiots are turning around saying, oh, no, it's this. Don't use your washing machine. It's going to change the world.
We've had many distinctions for
stove. You can't use that anymore. Yeah.
Because of these same things. That's why I came in here to tell people about that.
The thing is, with you gentlemen here and ladies, I don't leave you out, Maggie. Or Phyllis, because I know I see the hand come whipping out. The thing is, see, there it is. But the thing is this: what we know, and people we know, and people who have talked to us, and/or like the last recording we just heard, net from a master, that can actually tell us what's going on to us because they know. It's not a guess. It's not. Somebody saying, well, hypothetically, this could happen. It's not hypothetically anymore. It's going to happen. Now, whether it's going to be a biggie or a little one, that we can't guide. But quantum physics says it's possible. Go figure that one out. I mean, when you start going like that, let's face it, they're trying to fly to Mars. Robert, you must know this too, because some of your guys, let's face it, but we're gearing up to fly to Mars. Why?
They're already on Mars, but the Queen has mentioned in my other messages that they're preparing for the responsible people, the good people. See, the technology was taken over by intruders or interlopers, and they got around universal law by creating hybrids, by having sex with the Earth people. And so they created a series of half human, half reptilian, and you got the Rothschilds with the giant heads. And so they've established these Satanist bloodlines that are the bottom of the barrel. They've been elite, demons who've been told they're the only ones to rule the world. They're just doing the bidding of some beings that have been now removed from the planet. There's some remnants of them here, so that when the true exposure comes down, people will understand. Right now, the bigotry, the hatred, the fear, the mental plane exasperation, the programmed false flags, the deliberate programming of people into fear, into bigotry, into hatred, into judgment, all in violation of natural universal law, has been very strong. A lot of these technologies have been removed by ground command. So there's been a lot of interaction behind the scenes with various elements in the Naval Secret Space Program and various militaries. They're all compartmentalized. They don't all work together because of security. There's many people like me who are a voice piece, and Marc, others who are a voice piece for various confederations, and they have different views. Each confederation has an agenda. Each planet within that confederation has an agenda, and each extraterrestrial making the contact has an agenda. Therefore, the contactees are saying something, and then they get a little cult. Oh, Rob's full of baloney. No, Alex Colliard's wrong because I follow so-and-so. Stop it, people. We're all giving the same message. I said, Alon, why don't you take us all up and give us a pep talk and give everyone on the same page without all these, ET egos on the thing. There's different people who are very sincere getting information. Channeled information and telepathic sometimes is not quite as accurate as as when I get them. I don't channel. I get telepathic information when I write, but I don't necessarily trust all channels because their own apperceptions, their beliefs, their religious upbringing, any traumas they have may preclude them or misinterpret the information. My information is very specific. It's very word for word. It's written down. It's telepathically transmuted from Valiant Thor to the security chief to my friend who worked with them for 2.5 months on the planet. So, and I'm not a liar, and I'm not making a lot of money. I'm not selling anything other than my products, which is different than the message. The messages and the teachings are free. And, as everyone here knows, we get a lot of flack and pushback from those who are programmed, who go, frantic city, like the Flintstones, Buffalo meeting, rah, rah. They're just programmed. No UFOs, that's ridiculous. We just have to, if those people don't want to hear it, when they start showing up in the sky as often as birds, they're going to come and run into you fast as you can. So be proud to be a black sheep and to be different and to speak out the truth. Don't get a big ego and, keep the message of love and cooperation. And we're going to have to come together. If the electricity goes down, believe me, in my town, it went down for 2 days. Every store shut down, only one gas station. I mean, imagine this in LA. Ladies and gentlemen, the electrical systems and the power outages, they're doing rolling power outages now. They're predicting, the governor who I said, there's going to be month in and month out, there's going to be more fires all over the planet. That's because a lot of these are programmed. They're trying to kill you all. The vaccinations and all of that is designed as a controlled transhumanist agenda, which is no longer even possible. Jamie's right. It's more than 51%. The light is won, and we're moving onward to the victory of light.
Robert, you bring up a very interesting point, which I'm like, I didn't even realize. Yeah, very cool. About 2029 and that meteorite thing or
it's
asteroid.
Called the fourth.
I will. Cool. Well, a few years ago, I was laying in my living room, and as clearly as I've seen anything psychically and it's come to happen, I was out of the blue shown this scene. And from what I was shown, there were still mountains. So whatever happens doesn't obliterate everything. But everything else that I was seeing was burnt. It was ash. Nothing stood at all. And I'm like, I don't know where the frick this place is. So I'm kind of like Marc. I was trained by a gentleman named Major Ed Dames, who was a remote viewer for the military. It's numbers and all that kind of good stuff. So I wanted to see, if I could pick up any other information. So it's about numbers. And you target that with numbers, and then I shift it. And from what I was being shown, where there were two mountains coming together, and they weren't huge, but they were like bigger hills, and where the ocean would be was dry, nothing. Now, what I've been shown for many, many years is, again, I don't know nothing for nobody, but on the West Coast, there's going to be a double earthquake, whoop, whoop, and it's going to slide in for Arizona to be beachfront property. 2, I'm wondering if this will tie into the meteorite thing or the asteroid, because I've been shown for many years on the East Coast is going to be a huge wave that is going to wash over the areas there, like the whole East Coast. So I find it interesting that that specific year that you said, because the visions that I was shown, it never wavered. The number's 2029. And I'm like, what the flag nog? So it doesn't have to happen in any way, and I hope it doesn't. But I've been doing this for a little while, reading energy. And anything that I've seen in my mind sight that's come to happen, this was even more clear, much more clear than anything.
What I asked Alon when I heard this stuff, I started asking him questions, and he said, look, we're not worried about magnetic flip. That happens all the time. You didn't even know it. You never registered it. The axial flip is taking place regularly throughout our history. We're just now have the technology to even know that it's moving. A magnetic flip is not important. They're more concerned with any natural occurrence, whether it be Nibiru and axial flip. Nibiru is 1,500 years away. And it does come in on the southern north ecliptic. All the planets are going around like this. It's coming north to south. It's a very strange planet. It came from Sirius. It was traveling through space without a sun. It was out in outer space for a long, long time, and it finally got caught in our orbit. And it comes every 3,600 years, and it's 1,500 years away. So she said, we're not worried about that one. I said, we're more concerned with the humans do to each other. And what's called an axial flip is caused because of what we did a long time ago. The Earth is tilted. So that's in another message from the Queen. She goes, you know, you're always going to have an axial flip every 5,000 years. What's taking place now is a natural occurrence. The sun sends out these flares, and these are called S waves, and the Earth responds back as an entity. And so the Earth is responding what's called P waves. So the P waves exasperate, and another solar flare will come back and go, you said what? And basically, if the Earth is in misalignment, the Earth is like a dog shaking off fleas or water, or a whale going to the bottom to scrub barnacles off its back. So the barnacle is the human, the one that's supposed to be a guardian is out of alignment and is destroying life. We have to recalibrate our Earth, not in the name of money, not in the name of corporations, not in the name of profit, but in the name of true science and understanding the chain of command and the misuse of our technology and radiation and poisoned foods, what the reptilians want us to destroy our bodies. They tell you right on the label, this is going to kill you, and you eat it. You look into vaccines, formaldehyde, you know, monkey viruses, mercury, go ahead, take a shot. We've told you it's good for you, and it's mandated. This is the kind of ignorance that must find its death very soon. Mankind must realize that our people in positions in power in the government are nothing but, you know, ugly people. It's like Hollywood for ugly people. There's nothing they've ever done. They're just criminals, corrupt. They have nothing, no original thoughts, and all the money came through the demons on the planet working through the elite families. They are no longer in control of the money. The Rockefellers or the Rothschilds have had their personal bank accounts emptied, and hundreds of thousands of them have died, sacrificing to children and trying to call in Satan. It's not happening anymore. So this is behind the scenes stuff I'm telling you that no one knows, and they're still pretending they have a budget. They haven't passed a law officially in the Hall of Records in the National Archives for 4 years. They don't have any money. No law will ever be passed because all their money has been for billions of wars, for bombs and destruction. And people go, oh, you can't help the homeless. We don't have the money. Yes, we can. You haven't walked a mile in their moccasins. The money is going to come to local counties, and the counties will decide. There's going to be abundant money. We can build these hydroponic heirloom quality farms. We can put straws into the ocean and purify the water, not have any water problems. But do we have the spiritual awareness and the cooperation together? We're still fighting, rich and poor, women and child, old and young, Christian against Islam, Muslim against Jew. It doesn't matter. There's people in separation and in denial of the one creation and their brothers and sisters. This is the message of the Venusians. They're not interested in sharing with us they don't want to talk about politics. You know, I press them sometimes and they will give me stuff. I'm not allowed to talk about it in public, but it's about us getting our act together and being good people.
You know, I was going to say that, but I was actually going to use an organic word. Everybody knows what I meant by that. Yes, okay. But, you know, get it together, right. But on the other hand, Jamie, you had something on your mind. You were going to...
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that this dynamic is huge, and it's bringing the world together. And sometimes it's got to get darkest before the dawn kind of thing. But in addition, if we can talk just about the COVID for a few moments, I'm kind of there with you. I never got the shot. I never will. I just nanotechnology and all that other stuff. Anyhow, within that, there is a major shift that we are not going to save this planet as an outside species. That's why a lot of us were born into this as an inside job, starseed, whatever you want to refer to us as, in a way that it's now from the inside. So on a intergalactic, because it is much bigger than just this, but that connection is going to be allowing us to find our place within space as the unification. It's all one. There is no separation. You know, and I find it interesting that I can only speak for my own spiritual experiences, but I always share the fact that every time I merge with the oneness, the I am that I am, it is like the best mood you've ever been in, the best meal you have ever had. Truly, my soul feels full. And I don't have all of the regrets that humans have to make choices in life and learn to live with them. And I coulda, shoulda, woulda, and all that. And after many years, I asked my master guide, Chi, I'm like, Chi, how is it that when I merge with the oneness, I don't have all of these regrets that most humans have to make choices? He's like, well, Jamie, on a quantum level, all experiences are happening now. All potential outcomes are happening now. Your soul print of consciousness is connected to each and every one of those alternate realities. And just because you're not aware of it does not mean it's not being registered into your Rolodex or Akashic records, as we perceive it as an eternal being. And I'm like, oh, wow, that makes sense, because I feel complete. And I've got to share the fact that for me, I'm very honored to have a lot of clients that are doctors. And almost all of them have said that when a patient of theirs codes and they bring them back, most of the time, the first words out of that person's mouth are, why'd you bring me back? Literally. And they all say it's the first time I was loved, first time I was accepted, connected, and communicated with. It is just a whole nother vibe. And just for me, but it is all interconnected. I equate us like we're in the ocean of consciousness. Each little planet, each little universe is its droplet in the ocean. The ocean is the droplet is the ocean. I think we're starting to realize our empowerment, not an ego, just an acceptance and an understanding. Humbly, I always say, just like you guys, always be humble. We are no better, no worse, man. Do you. They just need to know what's possible.
All right, Mark, you were shaking your head up in the air. You were agreeing to something. What?
Everything that everybody's saying is like,
yeah, we're all in the same boat. It takes a lot of guts to be in this capacity, man.
Exactly. You came in at this time, as they say, at this time such as this, to come here now. And from where I come from, we're here as witnesses, witness for the Creator, witness for the truth. And when you get the boots on the ground because you came in to come be born or walk or whatever you're coming in with, you are now going to have a voice about this beautiful planet, who's a beautiful planet, and we are now a voice of a witness because we walked on the planet. So when you're on the other side, when you get up there in these other places, there's going to be beings coming and saying, you lived on that planet during that time? Yes, you did. And guess what? We're trying to bring the truth of the love of the infinite Creator to all the children. That's to come home. Because you got to get off these dense physical realities. This is where all this stuff is happening to people. And we're really from other reality, higher planes of existence. That's our true home. This was the testing ground, the souls take. And remember, Robert, we were talking about getting off the planet. This is Ashtar's. We have a lot of ships out there. These are 3 around planet Earth. And this is how we're going to take them out, teleport them up in crowds and big places. They will have craft to land to help people. But when you're frequency, I was teleported onto the ship in Central Park back in 2015. And who was on the ship? Sananda, Ashtar, and my crew, some of my crew. And they're like 9 feet tall to me. But they gave you a hug and everything. And it was so beautifully blissful. Just like you're saying, Jamie, that's the true feeling. And the scent on the crafts. It smells like frankincense and myrrh, flowers and gardens. nature.
That vibe.
When the
Yes.
name comes to you, they come with that
frequency,
frequency. That's higher people,
These
higher
are-
frequency.
These
Yeah,
aren't first level.
not
craft.
first level planet, physical dense craft that they find on the
Just
desert
people
that
know.
crashed. We're talking about higher plane, higher frequencies, higher
Light ships.
light ships.
Well, and
And
it's cool that you're acknowledging the multidimensionality of who
Okay.
we are. It's a soul print. You're not
Oh.
only here, you're over there. We're in many other places.
yeah. Now, when I was a kid, I was out of body and had a kundalinis and all that stuff. But the crew, my own overpart, said a way to think of it, to tell the people back then in the 70s, was their giant salt shaker metaphor. I always tell this one. The metaphor of a giant salt shaker filled with salt. And we were hovering over Earth that's round. And they said, okay, your over self, your true self, over self, whatever you want to call them, authentic self, whatever people want to say. You're the salt shaker. That's your true self. That which Creator created, that's us, the true self. All the salt is aspects of you as the true self. But one salt right now is you on Earth right now. All the others are dimensional. I've met other aspects of myself on the ships and other places. So you will meet yourself many times. Sorry. And a lot of times the craft that are coming to visit that you might see for the first time hanging over the house and you go, whoa, they're right over my house, which happened to me since I was a kid. It's an aspect of you and your family and friends from the higher planes, wherever your over part is and everything. They're coming to visit, to work with you. We've always said this we come to our own. Just means they're coming to be with you, and maybe your aspect is in that ship. And if it lands and you meet yourself, they might say, well, I'm from the future. That's the best way they might tell it to us, the Earth person, who's going, wow, a space person. So it could be a male or a female, could be an androgynous looking being. Doesn't have to always be a humanoid looking person either. There's cat-like people out there and all kinds of people, and they're all wonderful.
We got to wrap things up in that a little bit. So let's get a couple of last words and that out of here. And not only that, but to all of you guys, anybody that you know, and that this thing will be in YouTube, and it'll be in Rumble tomorrow and things. Pass it around. People have to listen to something that will spare them to turn around and go, what if? And I've said this, like that's quantum physics to me. It's the science of what if. And if enough people get these things going through their mind, they'll turn around and they'll question. And question makes very intelligent people when they get very intelligent answers. And we've got a whole bunch of them right here. And all these people that are saying, well, there's no such thing as what are they, ETs? Yeah, really? Well, on the other side, when they're talking about that, they're saying to themselves that they don't believe it. And they're trying to tell you that you don't believe it. But we know better, don't we?
Firsthand experience, you have no choice but to go, I don't understand it. I just experienced it. I've had a number of extraterrestrial, and we're ETs to everyone else, but I've had a number of connections with them. And also, many years ago, in late 1990s, like 97, I was sitting in the backyard of a home that I was at, and it was basically in central Phoenix here in Arizona. And it was nighttime around 9:30, 10, wherever. And I'm sitting out in the back, and we had a 2-story, but I heard these jets going over, and it was like, it was loud. I'm like, what the flagnog? So I look up, and coming over the roof area, going up above, are 2 jets flying like this with each other. And then there's a third one back here. The 2 front jets had an oval-shaped golden orb that the jets are flying, and these things were like skipping stones. I have no idea why they were like that, but I was like, this is Central Phoenix. It wasn't 1 o'clock in the morning. It was between 9 and 10 o'clock at night and down Central Phoenix. But it was jets, and more than likely it was military. It wasn't like the flying jets and we travel. This was military. And to see those golden orbs it was very interesting. It was just oval shaped. There was no wings, nothing, but it kept skipping alongside of the jets. And I'm willing to bet that third one at the back area that didn't have the orb next to it was a gunner. just making sure that, things stayed pretty clear so that no one else was going to intrude or that kind of thing. But I thought, wow, because that's just one little thing. You have those firsthand connections. In this case, it's been physical interactions going, holy crap, question everything. Please be skeptical about everything. Just be open. That we get the practicality of spirituality stuff.
Well, that drives me crazy, and and Marc has said it before, and I've heard Robert say it too. These guys are up there all the time. It's not they went, it's not like they watch us and say, well, no, we got to buzz by the earth in Thursday. No, this is not the way it is. These guys are there. They're planted there. And somehow down here in Earth, they keep on saying hollow Earth and all this other kind of stuff. Hey, now Robert has been to Mount Shasta. There is a background with that mountain that ET's planes, ships, whatever they are, go into, not against, not on, but into Shasta.
The mountain there is actually a city is called Telos. It was created about 30,000 years ago, and that was from Lemuria. The Telosians are actually a Venusian colony that had moved to the Earth. And there were a lot of Venusians here. Some of them had to be recalled to Venus because they were getting involved in the priesthoods and a lot of technology. The Earth people were following kind of some of the reptilians. They come in and take over bodies and do what they're doing here. It's recorded in the tablets, but they were a colony there. They're cloaked in the fifth dimension now. Most of what is called the Great White Brotherhood of the Shining Ones, the more advanced guardians of the inner Earth, have a network. There are 12 masters there, and their focal point used to be in Shambhala, the lesser beneath in the Himalayas, and Shambhala the Greater is an etheric city that is above the Gobi Desert. And there are many other space platforms and invisible places on the ocean here. Underneath the ocean and in other places. So the inner Earth is also a very important aspect. Some people call them the masters and then the guides of the sky. So together they're working clandestinely behind the scenes to not shock people. No ETs that look different are going to be allowed to come here in the beginning. Mankind has to kind of get used to the fact the governments have to go away. The people have to find new platforms of relation in harmony with God's law. And we have to rebuild this planet. We can't be putting in poisons in food, insecticides, and all the nonsense that we do, which has been created to keep our consciousness come down. We have to empower the spiritual nature of our bodies. I'd like to share a screen real quick here. This is.
I want to add something. I want to add something before you go on. Anybody that really wants to know about. Whoops, we just lost Marc again. Anybody that wants to know what Robert was talking about, and you got to make this quick, Robert.
That's my website, thepromisereview.net. I'm going to just stop sharing now. I just
hold on a minute.
wanted to people if they want to look at it.
Google this on your cell phone or Google this on your computer. There's something about Mount Shasta. Just like that. There's something about Mount Shasta. If you read that will be Rob he knew it, but I'm just telling you where you got where I got the information from. That was when you first went to last conference you had at Shasta.
Yeah, the Venusians are very closely associated. The Queen of Venus made her ascension from Earth in 1830 after being 240 years old. She was taken to Venus by the accidental apostle who died with Christ on the cross. He is the regent of Venus, appointed by Sanat Kumara, to head up the angel force to Earth. Valiant Thor was appointed directly by him to watch over the Earth. Alon is the security chief, and the Venusian contingent are our guardians administering, and any other federation from any other system or any other planet must go through the protocols of establishing contact with their representatives on the Earth through the Venusian hierarchy or the Solar Council, which they do not want them interfering. Mankind must step up. If they were to reveal themselves prematurely before we established our own peace and took control of our own planet, it wouldn't be good. What they are doing is removing the bad guys. So I want to thank you guys for the time on the air today and letting me share this message and to introduce my information to other people. And as I said, my website's thepromiserevealed.net. And I'm hoping I'm going to be talking to Marc in the future. I'm hoping, I'm looking for some contactees this year, some new blood into my conference. I've had 10 conferences in 9 years. So I'm going to be doing more here in Mount Shasta, and it's pretty famous now. Alex Collier and Sala and many other, James Gilliland and many other, Laura Eisenhower and other people have come to my conference through the years. And we have it's a mom and pop operation. It's not at a big hotel. It's in Mount Shasta. So thank you so much for your time and being on. I hope we can do it again.
I know. Now I'm gonna say this now. First of all, we'll start with Marc. Where can people get in touch with you?
Oh, we're on Facebook under Marc Brinkerhoff, MarcBrinkerhoff, intergalacticmission.com, and etuniversalzone.com, where you can go to messages and read messages from Sananda as well as Ashtar. That, because I'm telepathic with them, I don't channel ever. And what else do we have? MarcBrinkerhoff.com is my art website.
Oh, there you go. Now, Robert, how about you? Where can we get in touch with you?
Well, I did mention.
Oops, your voice just went off, Rob.
Sorry. My website, thepromiserevealed.net, and you can Google search me. On my website, I have a YouTube channel, I have a Brighteon channel, I have 2 Facebook pages, my personal page and my public page, and I also have a Mount Shasta Summer Conference page. But the computer's like kryptonite for me for the last 2 months. I take a lot of time off after my conference. It's literally 8 years of effort. I may be appearing at the UFO Congress in Mexico this year, and along with Jamie Masson, and that's not confirmed yet, but I probably will be appearing at Disclosure Fest in Las Vegas with some other people. So that's going to be going on my website. And hopefully I'll be appearing on Pyramid One again with these fine gentlemen and doing some more information sharing with the audience.
Yeah, that reminds me too, Ned, guys. I mean, this was very, very informative. I mean, seriously. I mean, this is an education. I mean, you guys are educators, and I'm telling you, the people who get this are gonna write me all over the place, and they're gonna say, "Oh wow, man." I mean, it's gonna be one of those things there where it's gonna be really, really good. They're gonna have more questions, and then I'm gonna send them to you guys.
Yeah, and next time
if I can't answer them, I'm gonna put my hands up in the air. Not me.
And if next time we get together, if we can maybe just share an experience or two that we've had with our brothers and sisters, just to give people maybe a reference in some way. Because again, these individualized aspects are amazing. And when you have that connection, you vibe with that energy. It's just there. So I'm looking forward because it's now permeating a little bit stronger and unifying. It's the rippling effect kind of stuff with other humans. So each one is starting to be activated. I'm seeing a lot of people just activated. I'm up and I'm open up. I'm using my abilities. And I'm like, frickin' A, good. Let's keep going. Mm-hmm. We need more people on the team. That's the point.
I just want to tell everybody that like everything that's going on in Washington right now, and that you're talking millions of dollars for all these people to get around a table and talk about ETs that pilots are seeing on screens. That's okay. And I know pilots too from an airport that's not even 5 minutes away from where I am. And they say the same thing. They've seen something. Something. They don't say what it is. They just say something. So I say, well, that's really, really great. In the meantime, from what we've talked about here, the talk is about something that's real. I mean, real. I mean, real people, real other souls that are connected to the earth. Now, that is not costing anybody $1 million, and you can have the information download from Rumble and YouTube for free. So if you don't get this information, I didn't do it. Not my fault. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, everybody have a good night, and thank you very, very much. In the meantime,
let's do this again.
Great to see you, Watch.
Yes, sir. Good to meet you.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. In fact, next time, in fact, I'm gonna allot more time in it so that Rob can put up his slides and everything, and he's got a whole ton of them. I know that for sure. Meanwhile, there's meetings like this that make us what we are. We are humans. Love is something that is us. I am is what we are, and we are all one. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.